What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of La Liga Career Mode. This is episode number 2, and we are returning today on the back of the series opener, where of course we sold a few of our aging and deadwood players and brought in 2 new signings for Granada as the rebuild began in Andalusia. Of course we brought in Alex Centelles from Almeria and also Rodriguez, a young striker as well. And as I mentioned in the series opener, it's going to be one step back for many steps forward for Granada. There's no doubt about it. As you look at the players we're currently selling here, Molina, who of course we sold to RB Leipzig, Maxime Gonalons, who we sold to Wolves, and also one of our starting centre-halves, Germain, 78 rated, really solid defender, lots of quality for this Granada side, but we're selling him for under the valuation here to AS Monaco of just under 4.5 mil, and the reason being very, very simple. He's 34. He's 34 years old. We need to get younger with this Granada side. It's an aging team. There are so many players in their 30s that need to go, and Germain was one of them. And that's why I mentioned in the last episode, even if we don't get much money for the players we're selling, I don't mind too much, because we have to make sure we make this side younger and build for the future, because we are in, and I'll say it again, rebuild mode with Granada. That's exactly what we're doing right now, making this team younger, bringing in young players. That's all about, that's all Granada are going to be about in the first season. So we also agreed a deal for Victor Diaz. I believe he's club captain with Ajax to go to Amsterdam. Totally fine with that. And also on the back of signing Centelles in the last episode, I said we were going to sell Sergio Escudero. He's 78 rated, so a really, really solid left back. Really high quality, but again, he's a decade older than Alex Centelles. 10 years older than Centelles. So he's 4 ratings higher right now. Yes, can't deny that. He's got great first team quality, but we're building for the future. I'd much rather have the younger player as we're currently in rebuild mode. So of course, in the series open, I also signed a 5-star youth scout as well, because youth scouting is going to be really important to me in this save. Granada are a team that are now in rebuild mode. We're looking for those young talents, and you love those youngsters that come through the academy as well. So we sent our new scout out to Spain for a year, and also one to neighbouring Portugal as well. As you'll see, right from the very first scouting report, we picked up this lad, Antonio Villar, a young 16-year-old centre forward who's already 65 overall. Now, you can't really judge how good a youth player is going to be after 1 month's worth of scouting, but let's just say I ignored that rule, got really excited and put him straight in my academy because he looks really, really good. 81 ball control, just 16 years old. Yeah, very excited about that young man. Hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, he'll have some solid potential, and straight away we'll have a youngster coming out of the academy that can play a role in the first team. If there's ever a time for a young player to make his mark in this Granada team, it's right now, as we're currently in rebuild mode. So Diaz did go to Ajax in the end, and also Escudero was sold to Lille of Liga for 9.5 mil. He's the same rating as Carlos Neiva. He'll be our starting left back, and Centelles as the backups. We didn't really need Escudero. I don't mind keeping 1 or 2 veterans here that are in their 30s. Carlos Bacca's going to be here, and possibly one other as well. But for the most part, the majority of those players in their 30s need to go. They don't really have a long-term future in this side. And whilst for realism, it would be nice to keep 1 or 2, like Bacca, for example, to be mentors for the young players, I don't want as many as we currently have. So I'm glad to know that the majority are now getting sold. But in terms of new signings, I did decide to bring in a new centre-half. Obviously, we sold Germain, we just sold Diaz there, we sold Escudero, so our backline is now getting smaller. And I picked up this guy from Rayo Vallecano, Alejandro Catena, 26 years old, 75 rated, and you know, this guy again, he's got some decent ability. He's 2 ratings lower than Germain, who of course we sold to Monaco, but he's 8 years younger than Germain. So again, it's all about building for the future. And at 26 as well, he's not a teenage wonder kid, which makes it unrealistic, but he's a sort of good, solid, okay player, you know, not of an abundance of quality, but he's good enough in the first season. It's not unrealistic, and it's certainly what you'd call a decent replacement for Germain, being just 3 ratings lower, but also 8 years younger. And that's the point as well, you know, with the money we've got here with Granada, after, you know, selling all those players and now having a decent amount of money in our transfer budget, I could probably go ahead and sign, you know, Gavi from Barcelona, or or Pedri or, you know, one of the star young Spanish talents, but it wouldn't be realistic, you know, because, you know, who are we? We're Granada CF, you know, we're from Andalusia. We're not a European powerhouse. It will take a long time before we are one. So I do want to make sure the signings we bring in are quite realistic. You know, Centelles coming in from a Segunda Division side, Rodriguez from a Serie B side. You know, those are second tier teams. We're currently a top tier team in La Liga. And also, Catena coming in there from Rayo Vallecano. There's not much difference in quality between us and Rayo. Yes, Rayo survived this year, finishing mid-table, and Granada were relegated. But ultimately, if you look at the two teams and the quality of the two teams, the stature of two teams, there's not much difference, really. So I didn't think that was too unrealistic. But with around 21.5 mil remaining in the budget, I did decide to make my second and final signing of today's episode right before the La Liga season opener. And I'm very excited about this guy. And let me tell you the reason why I'm buying this guy. So basically, I can't tell you why this is the case, but in this year's FIFA, I'm loving the Japanese players because they seem to do really well for me. If you watch my Bundesliga career mode, there was a lad called Okugawa who was so good in my Arminia Bielefeld side. Then in my realistic career mode, which I just finished with Southampton and Chelsea, I bought in a guy called Ritsu Doan in Season 1. And the guy was absolutely amazing. He became a star in that Southampton team. And so I was looking for a new right back here to replace Diaz. And of course, Santiago Arias, the South American. He's 29 years old and he's only on loan from Atletico Madrid. So we don't really have a starting right back who is officially ours. So I was looking for a class one. I thought, you know what? Wing backs to me are very important in FIFA. I want to make sure I got a good one that can attack, has bags of energy as well. Stamina is really, really crucial. And a young player to develop for the future, and this guy ticked all the boxes. Yukinari Sugawara of AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands. La Liga is a higher reputable competition than the Eredivisie, just being honest, and I thought there's no doubt about it, this guy would love to come and play in La Liga, take a step up for his career. And I've got to say, I spent a lot of money on this guy. I didn't have his full scout report given to me because there was only a day to go before La Liga season opener, and I wanted to bring him in before that away against Villarreal. But I had the majority of his stats uncovered. I saw his skill move and weak foot rating, and also the fact he was on a low wage too. And it seemed like this guy would be the perfect fit for Granada, and I think he will be as well. Yukinari comes in. He's a massive new signing for us, but a 75 rated and 21 years old. I've given him a defensive wide back development plan. He's quick. He's got 87 stamina. That's what drew me to him initially, and with a high attacking work rate, to me, he actually looks better as a winger than a fullback, but I'm going to convert him to a natural right wing back in this team. Someone that can offer a lot wing going forward, but also with his low defensive stats right now, keep him on a defense-based development plan to improve his defensive stats. 15.2 mil is a lot to spend, but I'm excited. 21 years old, 75 rating. Whilst he's 4 ratings lower than Arias, I'll say it once again, he's 8 years younger. We might be taking a step back in terms of first team quality, but we're taking a big step forward in terms of the youngsters coming in for the potential for the future. So we've made 4 new signings with Granada, and again, when you look at the team here, I did want to rebuild the side, don't get me wrong, but I don't want a completely new first 11, and it's not. In the first 11 right now, Catena and Sugawara are going into it, but Pablo Rodriguez and Alex Centelles, they're in the reserves right now. So again, I do want to rebuild this Granada side, but I want to do it semi-realistically as well, where we don't have a completely new first 11 full of load of wonder kids. No, I want to do it realistically, and at the moment, I'd say we're doing a really good job of that as well. Very, very excited for this Granada side, and again, we've taken a step back in terms of first team quality. We're on the cusp of dropping down to a 3.5 star team, but we've got much younger already, and that is the key. It's all about building for the future with this Granada side. So for the first game with Granada CF, I was very excited for it, but also feeling very pessimistic. Our season opener was against the Champions League semi-finalists, Villarreal, taking on Unai Emery's Yellow Submarine away from home. You know, I always talk about it, on match day 1 of a season, you always want a solid result to start off with. I had to say, heading into this game, I was feeling very pessimistic. I thought there was a chance we could possibly claim a point, but there's a big gap in class between us and Villarreal right now. The first chance fell to them. A big block, by Duarte, our Portuguese centre-half, kept it scoreless. And on the other end, a great save kept it at 0-0. But 13 minutes in, well, Luis Maximiano has been signed for this season for Granada from Sporting Lisbon. He's a great young Portuguese shot stopper, 78 rated, in his early 20s with solid potential. But on his debut for Granada, that's really poor goalkeeping from my number one, who I need to be a safe pair of hands if we're going to stay up yet. Shocking from Maximiano. Parejo's shot slips through his fingers as he makes it 1-0, and then a few minutes later, well, couldn't blame him for this one. Gerard Moreno slipped through 101, smacks it in, top bins. Can't blame our Portuguese shot for that one. We are 2-0 down inside the first 20 minutes. And I was thinking, how bad can this get? Because Unai Emery's side were in the mood on Monday night, and I literally could not stop them. Maximiano did make a great save to make amends for his early error right before the break there, keeping it 2-0, prevent us going 3-0 down at the break. So we had a glimmer of hope going into the second half, but I'll be honest here, the glimmer was so small you could barely see it. I was getting absolutely dominated in this game. And again, if this is the first career mode of mine you've watched, then firstly, welcome. But what you'll find out is I present the highlights package very, very fairly. I don't try and sweep anything under the rug or present them in a biased fashion. No, I will show you I've been dominated if I've been dominated. And in this game, I got dominated. Absolutely torn apart by Villarreal. They went 3-0 up right after the restart. Gerard Moreno bagging his brace. And if there was a highlight that summed up how this game went, I think it's this one. 71 minutes in, a chance on the break. We only got 2 in the game. This was our best one. Machis, our highest rated player, one-on-one, puts it about 7 yards wide of the post. Yeah, that kind of sums up how I think this season might well go. Final score, 3-0. I shook my head after shaking Unai Emery's hand at full-time whistle. I know for a fact this is going to be a tough, grueling season. If you think Granada are going to sneak into the top 4 come the end of the season, think again. This is a long-term RTG with the lads from Andalusia. It's going to take a very long time for us to get good. It's a rebuild. It's a long RTG. It's going to be very tough this season. But I'll be honest, that's exactly what I want. In the very first season, I want a tough challenge. I want a difficult task. That's exactly what we've got. This is going to be a tough, grueling first season. If we are to stay up and keep our heads above water and keep Granada in La Liga, match day 1, we're bottom of the table. This is going to be a long, hard challenge. But that will end today's episode of La Liga Career, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for next episode very soon, featuring our first game at home and also some new signings too. Very soon.